emergency care means that they can die, suffer significant pain and trauma, or lose the ability to have children. And one
labor union of physicians in this country. We represent over 32,000 resident physicians across the country, and we are shocked that we are still here once again calling for the protection of a basic human right, which is the access to health care, the access to abortion care. I chose to be a physician because I wanted to deliver quality care to everyone who needs it. No person should have fear to go to the emergency room and being turned away, especially not someone who is pregnant and in need of urgent, critical care. That includes abortion, period. Access to safe and legal abortion is a fundamental aspect of medical care and a critical right that supports the autonomy, the dignity, and the health of our patients. It is about safeguarding our commitment to do no harm and to provide the care that is dictated by medical necessity and not by politics.
This was the scene outside of the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday as the 9 justices hear argument from attorneys from the Biden administration and the Idaho state on a major case on abortion access, on whether or not the Idaho state near total ban law on abortion that went into effect after the court repealed Roe v. Wade in 2022 conflicts with the federal law that requires hospitals to provide patients in emergency with whatever treatment is necessary to stabilize life. The Idaho state law only allows for abortion when the mother's life is at risk, not her health. Since the Supreme Court repealed Roe in 2022, more than 20 states across the U.S. have instituted some form of ban on abortion, infringing on women's rights and reproductive freedom, with implications beyond the U.S. While the 9 justices here consider the argument in this case, Arizona lawmakers voted to repeal the state's 1864 law that banned all abortions.
La participación hace la diferencia. There is power in unity, but participation makes the difference. Gracias. Y ahora voy a bring to the stage our next president, Dr. Walker, an abortion care provider.
Good morning, everybody. Morning. Lorenzo is a tough act to follow, but I am so honored to be the next CIR president. I am here with CIR SEIU, the largest labor resident organization. This is not my first speech as president. Hi. I'm here with CIR SEIU, the largest labor union of doctors in the United States. 32,000 members. Let's go. I am also a very proud abortion provider. So 12 years ago, I had my own abortion in Memphis, Tennessee. Thanks. Let's go. I couldn't do that today. I had to navigate violent trap laws that are put in place to prevent people from seeking basic human health care. I had to watch videos about how my baby had fingernails and how adoption is better and all of these things that are only put in place to shame and to dissuade, and that is not okay. I was one of the very few cases of a medication abortion that had a complication. I was in my undergrad classes to go back to medical school, and I didn't know what I was doing. I was alone. I was scared. I didn't want to talk to anyone in Tennessee because of the social pressure that exists. I was hemorrhaging, and I went to the emergency department. And if I did that, if this law stands, they would have told me to leave. I would not have been able to access life-saving care and stand here today. I made the decision after that experience to become an abortion provider, to become a medical doctor, and make sure that none of my patients experienced the same nonsense that I went through because politicians wanted to make a decision about my safety. I am so glad to be here with you today as a doctor, as an abortion provider, as a person with a uterus, and as a human being. I know that healthcare is a human right and that abortion is healthcare. Thank you guys so much. Okay, it is my absolute honor to introduce Christina Roth from the NAACP Legal Defense Fund. Thank you guys.
Hello, everybody, today. I am Chrissy Roth, and I am with the NAACP's Legal Defense and Educational Fund. Founded in 1940, LDF uses the power of law, narrative, research, and people to defend, advance, the full dignity and citizenship of Black people in America. We know the Supreme Court issued a draft decision that its impacts would be disproportionate to Black people.
You do no harm. I'm sorry? Do no harm. And a man who advocates for abortion is advocating for the most convenient method for him of getting rid of a problem. It's for advocating for something that is convenient for them. And it is a shame when we see medical professionals who have committed an oath to do no harm, to stand in defense of killing an innocent human being. It is a shame in America when medical professionals who have committed to do no harm to their patients ignore the rights of the most vulnerable patient, a human child inside the womb. It is a sad day when the doctors that you supposedly trust for your medical care can't even tell you the truth, that a child inside the womb is a human being deserving of rights and dignity the same as you or I, that a human child at 8 weeks has a heartbeat and brain waves and is a human child as much as you or I, and that before birth there is no difference between a preborn child and you or I. So shame on the doctors who stand for abortion, shame on the doctors who betray the Hippocratic Oath, who betray their calling to do no harm and to serve people who need true health care. Abortion is not health care. And it is a sad day when we see people in white coats. I'm not even sure if they are doctors, but it's a sad day when we see medical professionals advocating on behalf of violence and on behalf of things that are not health care. When we have classified a violent act as health care, we have fallen so far. And it is a shame that we would have people who we trust our doctors, don't we? We go in to talk to our doctors and ask for help. We go in and we trust them to make the best decision for our well-being. And then to turn around and to advocate an act of violence. What a betrayal of our trust. What a betrayal of their oath. What a betrayal of their commitment to do no harm. What a shameful day that is. And the worst part is, these doctors and medical professionals, they take anatomy,
while we make our review from the unrelenting attacks on settled law, this community will not stand idly by. Are you going to stand idly by? That's right. Today we raise our voices in protest of this callous effort to force healthcare providers to wait until pregnant patients' lives are at risk before providing abortion care. Tomorrow, we will do more than play defense. We'll push to expand access to abortion care, invest in maternal health care, and equitable access to culturally competent health care for communities of 1 million to those of under 1,000. Because access to health care is a vital feature to create long-term stability and safety in our communities and ensure that everyone can thrive. Y'all want to thrive? We must continue to link our arms, and our collaborative efforts are critical to sustain this movement for our collaborative freedom. Thank you so much, and I have the absolute distinct privilege of now introducing Analia Mieja from the Center for Popular Democracy.
That we are not full humans? Shut them down, prepared, but I am actually moved in this moment in a different way. Forgiveness. Forgiveness. 4 weeks ago, I lost my father. And in this process, as I remember all the lessons and the opportunity and the privilege I had to live with a man who saw me as a full human being, what I realize is, one, I am the daughter of a man, of a black man born in 1926. I am the youngest daughter born to my father. And he was the youngest child born to my grandmother, who was born in 1891. And what that means to me is that I was loved, and I was held, and I was raised with people who lived under conditions and liberated themselves out of conditions that forces wish to re-subjugate me and deny my children the right to a full humanity. And I will be damned if I allow them to do that in silence. Like many who have come here, like many who are listening, and like many human beings in this nation and planet, I too had 2 abortions. I required a medical abortion and had to terminate a much wanted pregnancy to save my life. And I also had to have a safe medical abortion because I did not have the economic stability, the personal stability, or even the desire to bring that pregnancy, to use my body in that way. And so I had the right to choose, and I took it. And by the way, unlike the story that oppressive forces wish to tell, that choice was for the better for me and for my family. And I was a married mother both times. And there is no value to any situation in which a person who is able to carry a pregnancy needs to justify in order to claim their full humanity. Ask is that we consider our role in this moment and that we understand what's at play. Y'all, this is not the first time in this nation in which forces wish to bring us back into a space of oppression for the majority of the people on this planet. Last time, we had a Supreme Court that was taken over by ideological extremists, which is what has happened. And last time, we had such levels of state-sanctioned violence against other human beings like we have now. And last time, we had an ideologically corrupt person at the helm of this nation was at the moment of post-Reconstruction, where those 3 things came together and ushered in 100 years of Jim Crow. That is what has happened in this nation. That is what they are poised to do now, and that is what we must disrupt. Are you with me? We must disrupt this madness. Thank you, mis compañeros. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I took up too much of your time, but I say it with love. We are the people we are waiting for. We are our own liberators, and we will make it happen. And one of those people who are going to help liberate all of us through their effort in their wonderful, glorious state. I am proud to be able to introduce these two powerful leaders, Senator Melissa Wintrow and Representative Ilana Rubel. Did I get that right? Thank you, sisters.
All right. Idaho is in the house.
Yes! Okay, we're going to have to share up here, but it's so important that Idaho is here because even though Idaho is behind us raising hell in there, we're raising hell out here! Good morning, my name is Melissa Wintrow. I'm a senator in Idaho. I'm the Senate Minority Leader, the Democratic Leader.
And I am Representative Ilana Rubel. I'm the House Democratic Leader. And we are also members of the 6th Reproductive Freedom Leadership Council, which is a network of state legislators committed to improving reproductive health and justice and lots of other good things. But in Idaho, we are on the front lines of the horror that was unleashed upon women and medical professionals when Roe was overturned. Idaho has the most extreme ban in America with no health exception whatsoever. The only exception is if the patient faces certain death. Likely death? No exception. Possible death, organ loss? No exception. Paralysis, permanent infertility? No exception. Non-viable fetus with no skull or brain? No exception. None of that is enough to permit an abortion, and any doctor who acts to save a woman in such an emergency faces 5 years in prison. This is not okay. The results have already been disastrous. Women in health crises are being airlifted out of state. 6 from one hospital alone just in the last couple months. People who are pregnant are being told they must get life flight insurance to flee Idaho if they have complications. This is not okay. Idaho law forces doctors to choose: commit medical malpractice by waiting until a woman is almost dead when she could be saved, or go to prison by treating her. And unsurprisingly, these doctors are choosing option C, leave the state. We have lost over half of our high-risk maternity specialists. We've lost a quarter of our OBGYNs. 3 labor and delivery departments have shut down, and in Idaho, that's a lot. We don't have a lot to begin with. There are parts of the state where you have to travel 170 miles now just to get to an OBGYN. Not an abortion, just an OBGYN. We are in a 5-alarm crisis in Idaho, and our majority party leadership is in this building right now, and they are only interested in making the problem worse by fighting the protections we had under EMTALA. The status quo in which pregnant women are denied the emergency stabilizing care that is guaranteed to every other American is not acceptable, and we do not believe it's constitutional.
Since Idaho's abortion ban went into effect, people needing care have been thrown into chaos. I've heard from doctors, nurses, women, men at every stage of life whose options and rights were abruptly cut short by that legislature, my own legislature. Young people are afraid to start families in Idaho because it's not safe to be pregnant in our state. Of course, the impacts have fell hardest on people of color, people who can't afford to travel, and people suffering from an emergency who lack the luxury of time to travel out of state for care. Under EMTALA, federal law offered a lifeline, an assurance of at least emergency abortion care. But extremists in our state have fought hard to cut off the lifeline and take even the sliver of protection away. We want to make one thing clear, that while this case is named Idaho versus the United States, the people of Idaho do not support the state's position. The majority of Idahoans support access to abortion care, but the majority party of Idaho has left us behind time and again. And the impact of this case will extend far beyond Idaho. If EMTALA is not found to protect emergency abortion care, and the safety of pregnant folks is in danger across our country, we want women in America to know, and the healthcare providers of Idaho to know, that we will fight for your rights and your safety. We'll do it in Boise, and we'll do it here on the steps of the Supreme Court. Thank you.